Hello everyone, welcome to the channel. My name is Jesse and I'm an employment specialist. Today we are going to answer a question that was submitted by JC, and JC would like to know, can you summarize your research on the hidden job market? Specifically, can you state it in a couple of minutes or less? Okay, I'll try. The hidden jobs market as it's used today is actually a combination of two concepts and they don't mix. So let me explain. There's the hidden jobs market, and then there are hidden jobs. And they've sucked in this percentage of 80%, and they've used these terms interchangeably. So I'll explain where they come from and how it relates today, because it actually is very applicable for today. But it's how you understand the concept so that it makes sense. So first, the term hidden jobs started in the 1950s in Iowa, and it was an idea of a youth summer jobs program where people would go and they would basically hunt for work. We would call this entrepreneurial job search today. They basically invented or created jobs. And it was a partnership between employers, local nonprofits, and teenagers. So that's where that concept comes from. And later on, it was expanded by a staffing company in 1962 to be used as a term for opportunities that were available through their staffing firm. So it's got absolutely nothing to do with advertising at this point. In fact, the ad that was put out by James C. Synergen in 1962 has the terms hidden job market in it. So it can't mean that there's no advertisement because its first usage was in an advertisement. So that makes no sense. So basically what it means is it's opportunities that are available through third parties, such as recruiters, employment agencies, trade unions, co-op departments, who else? Internal staff members, business associations, professional associations, staffing companies, the list goes on. All right, let's talk about this 80% statistic that everybody seems to quote, and what exactly is it, and is it applicable today? So where it comes from is the Ford Foundation survey in partnership with the National Conference Board. It was a study that was done in Rochester, New York, of 27 businesses in the 1960s. The report came out in 1966. But where that 80% comes from, because it's actually not part of the original report, is it comes from a gentleman by the name of Bernard Halden, who pulled information from that survey to create that conclusion. Now, there's a few problems with how he did this. If you read the report, you actually find that there's a local labor agreement between Rochester businesses that they actually had to use a staffing agency through the Rochester Business Association. Machine Manufacturing Association. So that 80% is not even applicable outside of Rochester, New York. On top of that, it doesn't mean that there's no ads. It means that there is no ads in the local newspaper from the employer, because that 80% encompasses things like staffing companies, associations, schools, trade unions, the staffing firm that they're all supposed to use. So realistically, they all have their own ads. So it's not that the ads are missing per se. So that 80% statistic is technically a real number, but it's the way that Bernard Halden defines it, and it's not necessarily the way the study defined it. So that's where that 80% comes from. Additionally, that 80% statistic has been completely abused, and it's been pulled out of context, and people have tried to justify this percentage as opposed to looking back and finding out where the real number comes from. And let me give you some examples of some of the abuses that have come from it. So people have tried to explain this number by saying employers like to save money. But here's the problem is that if you look at the original study, they're not saving money. They're paying a staffing firm premium money for it. Employers today use multiple channels for hiring people. So they might enlist a staffing company, but they might also put out an ad. Then they might tell the local agency. They might tell their employees. So there are ads that are being put out, and some of them cost more money than others. Also, they're using multiple channels, therefore spending more money. Now, other ways that this has been abused is that people have taken the term hidden jobs and hidden jobs market and combined the two of them together. And let me give you an example. So here is a book by the name of Go Hire Yourself an Employer. This was written by an executive recruiter by the name of Richard Irish, who hanged out with Mr. Bernard Halden. And here's what he says. I'm just reading from page, that's the wrong page. Sorry, I was on 97. I meant to go to 79. So here's what it says. What exactly do I mean by hidden jobs market? 80% of all good jobs, see, it's good jobs, it's how they're defining the job. So it's not all jobs. It's, in this case, it's management jobs. Or what they call decision maker jobs back then, but basically we call them management jobs now. Are concealed. They are not listed with Civil Service Commission or the State Employment Service, and the Personnel Department is the last to all know. So Human Resources doesn't even know about these jobs, which if anyone is in Human Resources, know that doesn't work. So look for good jobs in the hidden jobs market. They are the jobs that exist only in the minds of a few individuals who make a place work. So there are jobs that are up here. They have power and make decisions. Don't look for any pre-packaged job descriptions. Most operating people don't have time for such nonsense. Totally doesn't work. Like, if anyone knows how a company runs, knows that that doesn't work. But yeah, that's the kind of advice that people give when it comes to trying to explain this number. Another one is cold calling. Cold call an organization because 80% of jobs are hidden. You have to crack that hidden job market. Well, not necessarily. Now, I'm not saying don't network, right? Because networking is good because all those jobs are advertised through internal staff members and they come along with personal recommendations. So there's a lot of benefit to networking still. So I'm not saying don't network. I'm just saying they're not hidden. And this kind of changes your approach to networking from I have to sell myself in order to actually apply for this job through the hidden jobs market to I should use networking as a tool to learn about a company so that I have a better application, so that I can address issues that every other application can't. So there's great benefits to networking. So that's what the hidden job market is essentially about. It's all about hiring channels that employers use, and it's got nothing to do with jobs not being advertised. You're not missing out on jobs per se. The best strategy that I would use is call up an employer if you can't find their job postings and ask them where to apply. That's the worst case scenario. So that's it on our hidden jobs market video. My name is Jesse. I'm an employment specialist. Feel free to like, subscribe, send us your questions, and we'll catch you next time.